Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates. My name is Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity mate, Ren. How are you going?
I'm very good, Bryce. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be back.
It is good to be back.
In the hot seat.
Another day, a lot going on in markets.
Absolutely.
But we're going overseas.
Yeah, we love it overseas.
We can't actually go overseas.
No.
But we are both double vaxxed, so
Yeah.
hopefully soon. But a couple of pieces of news have caught our eye.
Yes, so we're going to be chatting about a couple of companies that are trying to go where others have failed before.
Yes.
You love to see it when these big companies think that they can do it better than others, and in some instances it pays off, in other instances it falls flat. But we're going to be looking at Netflix and Facebook, and both of them are trying to cover ground or go where some of their competitors certainly have been before but have failed. Are they going to be able to be the ones to get it off the ground?
Well, let's discuss. I was about to say let's find out, but I don't think we're going to find out by the end of this episode.
We can call Zuck.
Well, you mentioned Zuck. Let's start there.
Yep.
So, what are Facebook doing, and who's done it before?
So Facebook are trying to get into the glasses game, and I'm not talking about the glasses that help people see, but I'm talking about digital glasses. And they have teamed up with Ray-Ban to try and beat both Snap Inc. and Google, who have both tried in the glasses space before, to essentially come with smart glasses.
Yeah, so Ray-Ban Story Smart Glasses is what the product is called.
Very long name.
I guess. Jeez, we know where you stand on this whole thing. But they're glasses that will allow you to take photos and up to 30 seconds of video, listen to music, and answer phone calls.
Listen to music?
Yeah, listen to music. Have you seen, whenever you go in an airport, there's like the Ray-Ban glasses that they're not headphones, but they're like headphones?
No.
This is existing technology for Ray-Ban, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. So it's like a loudspeaker? Or like
yeah, but it's like localized, so only you can hear it.
Oh, right.
So I guess that's the same with when you're taking phone calls and stuff like that.
So you'd have to sit on the plane, for example, with your glasses on to
Yeah. Probably not, or maybe designed for planes, but probably more like, look, honestly, the use case is questionable, but so for Facebook, this is the start of the next step in a long push in their business into the metaverse. So we may have touched on the metaverse on AusBiz before. We've definitely talked about it on the podcast, but for people who are new to Equity Mates, do you want to give us a one-on-one on what the metaverse is?
The metaverse is essentially the way that the internet has been delivered to us, or we've interacted with the internet in past has been through computers and then phones, but now the metaverse, as Zuck puts it, is going to be totally immersive. So you will be essentially in the internet and engaging with it, not through necessarily as a device as hard as your phone, but you're going to be seeing it, feeling it. Who's the author that you sent a link through?
Matthew Ball.
He explains it as in, decades to come as holograms, and you're in different worlds and all sorts of bits and pieces. So,
yeah. Think of it as merging the physical world with augmented reality, extended reality, and virtual reality.
Pretty straightforward.
All into just one. And for Facebook, these smart glasses are a step in that direction, and they want to be there first. Now, you mentioned at the start of this episode that these tech companies are going where others have gone before and failed.
Yes.
So this isn't the first time we've seen a major tech company invest in smart glasses.
Yeah. 2
companies have done it before.
Snap Inc. was the first?
I think Google was the first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, wow.
So Google launched Google Glass in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
But I think Snap Inc. I felt like they just publicly failed more than Google then.
Snap was 2016.
Yeah, and they came in with a lot of hot air, and then it just fell down really quickly.
Well, let's separate the two. So Google 2013 launched Google Glass, and the one thing you can give Facebook credit for are these are well-designed glasses with a bit of tech built in.
Yeah.
A lot of tech built in. The Google Glass was not well-designed. It was very tech futuristic design.
Yeah.
Launched in 2013. This whole movement sprung up around Silicon Valley. They got labeled glass holes.
The glasses.
People wearing glasses.
Glass holes. Yeah.
And, bars wouldn't let them in, and there were all these privacy concerns raised. So Google's discontinued the product in 2015. They've been experimenting with it and finding like sort of more industrial, I guess like B2B applications for it. But it was a pretty notable failure for Google. Yeah.
I think, but they have said they're going to give it another crack.
They are giving it another crack.
They're going to come back with a bit of a... But then Snap Spectacles launched in 2016.
Yeah.
That's the one I remember more than...
You had a pair, didn't you?
No, I hated Snapchat. Launched in 2016 and it failed pretty quickly because in late 2017 they wrote off the $40 million in unsold inventory.
Well, it's still a product that exists. They're up to like the third generation of them.
I've never seen one. I've never seen one. Have you? Never.
Not in person, no.
And I even remember seeing, like, they had the little yellow snap symbol. It's like, come on, guys. Well, but anyway, if they're still going third generation, all the best to you, Snapchat.
So they launched in 2016, not well. You're right, in 2017, they had to write off $40 million worth of unsold inventory, but they've kept iterating, and you're right, haven't seen any on the street.
Haven't seen a single one. Yeah.
But so Google pretty spectacularly failed. Snapchat, pretty lukewarm response. Facebook, look at those two companies and say, we can do this better.
Yeah.
The big build, so one, the first build is that they're better designed glasses. The second build is there are a lot of privacy concerns around Google's Google Glass and people being able to take photos and videos of you without you being aware. So Facebook's build on that is now if you're taking a photo or a video, there's a little orange light that turns on. Some regulators have said that might not be enough, and the Irish Data Privacy Commissioner has basically sent Facebook a please explain and asked Facebook to demonstrate that an LED indicator light is an effective means to let people know they're being filmed.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like it's no different to someone being 100 meters away and me snapping like a quick photo with my phone or whatever. And you're not going to see an LED on someone's light and glasses 100 meters away. But if you and I sitting here and this starts flashing, like, I guess what are you going to do? You should be like, hey, you get taken a photo?
Yeah. So that's where we're at, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. We did speak about this on our podcast yesterday, so check that out in a bit more detail. But for me, I believe that the company that wins this is going to be a company that build products, not like Google, Facebook. They're all like software developers online. I think the winner is going to be companies that make actually good product. And as I said, I think that's going to be Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as much as Ray-Bans are sort of outdated as well in terms of...
right.
Anyway, they were a massive fad, but like not a lot of people were. I could be completely wrong here as well.
There you go, Bryce. That's the hot take. But yeah, I think you're right. Apple will watch Facebook fail and then be like, we've got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, Ren, moving to the next big American company that is trying to move into a different domain and compete where others have competed before, and that is Netflix, trying to get into gaming of all things.
Yeah, so this one came out a little while ago, but we thought we should talk about it. So in Netflix's most recent earnings call, Reed Hastings came out and said, video streaming is all good and well, but we're moving into gaming.
Yeah.
And the company had also announced that they had hired their first ever VP of gaming. So it's a move that they're making, which surprised a lot of people because, I guess they're both consumed via a screen, but they're very different businesses, game development and movie production. Yeah,
and you're competing with some pretty fierce competition as well. Like you're going up against companies that have been building and creating games for so long, have huge audiences now. The EAs, the Tencents of the world. I'm not a gamer. I can't name all the game companies.
Yeah, you're right.
So there is a bit of context around this.
Yeah, but I think the other important piece of context is that subscriber growth is slowing for Netflix. When you get to that scale, it's tough to keep the growth rate going. But it was their worst ever quarter for subscriber growth. They actually lost 400,000 subscribers in the US and Canada.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And Disney is growing incredibly quickly. And the gap between Netflix and its next closest competitor, whoever that is over its history, has reached a record low.
I wonder if the 400,000 they lost, if they lost those customers to competitors, or those guys were just like, we're over this streaming business. And
I think we did this a while ago in an Australian context, but we added up the cost of all the different streaming services.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's too much.
Yeah. So what are they doing about it though? Like, have they actually created some games?
Yeah, so they're testing it on Androids in Poland, of all places.
Okay.
I mean, you got to start somewhere. So they've launched 2 Stranger Things
Netflix
mobile games
series, Stranger Things.
Yeah. So like based on that IP, they've released 2 games.
Oh, so is that going to be their play, to create games based around their original?
I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So like a House of Cards game.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But in theme for this episode, they're not the first tech company to try their hand at the, I guess, appealing opportunity that the gaming industry presents.
Yeah. The number of big tech companies that have tried to get into gaming is long. On the theme of having really strong IP and trying to turn that into games, let's start with Disney, who took exactly that model and realized that it wasn't for them, and in 2016 shuttered all of their game division and decided that they were just going to license their IP to other game developers instead.
Yeah, right.
So it's interesting that Netflix is going down a road that Disney
have tried and failed.
Swore off.
Yeah.
But in terms of big tech, Google Stadia, have you heard of that?
Never heard of them.
Yeah, well, it launched in 2019, shut down in 2021.
Wow.
So that was one of Google's pushes into gaming. Amazon Game Studios announced in 2014. They've produced some games, but it hasn't been a resounding success.
I'd actually never heard of them either.
Right, okay. I'm not surprised when you haven't heard of things in this gaming space.
Yeah.
What about Apple Arcade?
I had heard of Apple Arcade.
Have you used it?
No.
Okay, well, if you had used it, I would assume you haven't used it for long, because apparently their monthly churn rate is 20%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You'd hate to see that. I want.
They would hate to see it.
Yeah. So look, again, it's surprising that Netflix have. I mean, they'd be aware of this, and obviously trying to buck the trend here and get some additional growth by getting into the gaming industry.
Yeah, I think it's also worth pointing out that even when you're successful in gaming, it's tough. Like, it's tough even for the biggest successes. So Microsoft has Xbox, which is undeniably a success. Yeah. But reportedly, the Xbox division lost money for over a decade.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's tough. It's tough out there. And it's an incredibly crowded space, and some companies do it incredibly well. The EAs, the Activision Blizzards of the world, and trying to get in on that is going to be difficult. But I guess the thing is, Netflix has like 200 million subscribers and a catalogue of pretty strong IP, so they've got some things going for them.
I wonder if it's going to have to be an additional payment though, because if you're trying to convince your existing user base to start playing games with you, but you need to pay the game pack or whatever, but someone else already has an Xbox, paying for Xbox Online or whatever, it's another barrier to try and convince.
Yeah.
But anyway, good luck to the VP of Gaming.
But I think at the end of the day, in terms of why would Netflix do this, they take this really expansive view of the competitive landscape that they're in. You know, Reed Hastings has this quote, our biggest competitor is sleep.
Right.
It's like basically, and you know, they think of their competitors as anything that takes attention.
Yeah.
And in subsequent years, other companies have adopted that approach. Nintendo have come out and said something similar now, but Netflix really pushed that your choice is any leisure. You have things that you have to do, like working and eating. You have things that like you physically have to do, like sleeping, and then everything else is time that you could be consuming their content or doing any other leisure activity in the world, and that's their competition.
Jeez. Imagine doing a SWOT analysis on sleep.
It's got some strengths.
It does have some strengths. But anyway, there's 2 big tech companies overseas that are trying to go where others have gone and failed before. So as always, super interesting to keep an eye on these guys as they, particularly Facebook, I think, as this is the start Zuckerberg's foray into the metaverse. So
I wouldn't be surprised if we see you swap those glasses out for
true. Yeah, I can tell you one thing: you're not going to see me in Snap Ink glasses. That's for sure. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our episode today. If you'd like more info on what we're doing, head to equitymates.com. But otherwise, we're back tomorrow for Watchlist Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then.